Hi, I'm going to talk today about Juniper's Spotlight Secure platform, which is an open threat intelligence platform. To set the scene a little bit, I'm going to talk about the problems that are facing businesses when it comes to cybersecurity. The first of those is the explosion that we've seen in the volume, the velocity, and also the sophistication of attacks. The next of those is that there's no real silver bullet for cyber attacks. And the last is the fact that the cost to the business, to the enterprise, is increasing. A recent survey suggested that the average cost of a data breach is over $12 million. So as we look at the current state when it comes to addressing and mitigating cybersecurity, we look at what we're doing. One of the biggest problems we find is the variation in cyber attacks. We see application exploits, we see denial of service attacks, we see malware, and our biggest issue here is that there's no way to keep ahead of the attackers. We're constantly playing catch up, and the breadth of threats is huge. Attackers involve malware, they involve attacks, and really the industry in some ways has stood still a little bit. And what we want to do is we want to move to a proactive approach. And one of the ways in which we can do that is we can use threat intelligence feeds. There's a lot of security research organizations out there who are taking security intelligence and making it available. That's the good news. Now the hard part of that is how we actually make that actionable. Now, when it comes to actionable, there's really two ways which we can make the intelligence data actionable. The first of those is we can do this via forensics. Take, for example, a connection outbound to the internet. We can see that connection, and then we can correlate later to find the fact that that connection was actually to a command and control server. The problem with forensics is that while it is actionable, by definition it's after the event. We have a cause and effect type relationship. So what we're not doing is we're actually not stopping the attack. The incident has happened, possibly the data breach has occurred, it's been exfiltrated, and it's too late. Now the other place that we can make this intelligence actionable is actually on the enforcement points, and that's what the Spotlight Secure infrastructure does. Actually pushes it down to the enforcement point and gives the administrator control over how we look at dynamic policies and actually mitigate these threats in a dynamic way. So let's take a little look at the topology and the network architecture of Spotlight Secure. What you can see on this slide is that Juniper provides a cloud service called Spotlight Secure, which takes a number of feeds, reputation feeds, command and control feeds, and actually offers a service whereby we aggregate these feeds, normalize the feeds, and then we add value to them by prioritizing the feeds. Not every command and control server is created equal. So we add in our own additional value to the feeds, and what we do then is we actually push that down to an on-premise central management system, which can then disseminate it out to the firewall estate. Now, one of the extra values that we add also here is that we allow customers to have their own custom feeds feeding into the on-premise solution. That's to say we don't tie customers in to our own feed solution. By all means, take our value add feed that we are supplying, that we are actually normalizing and prioritizing. However, customers are free to use their own solution. So as we look at all the advantages of Spotlight Secure and just walk through these, the first is that it's an open platform. So customers are completely free to use their own whitelists, blacklists, their own threat intelligence feeds as they see fit. It's scalable to be used by the enterprise or by service providers. And it also provides huge capacity for these threat feeds, up to 1 million data entries. There's not really any value in having these threat intelligence feeds if we're not capable of actually running them on the enforcement points. We add improved efficacy for this by adding in fine-grained tuning and control, i.e. the prioritization of the actual addresses themselves. And finally, we provide very adaptive controls. We put the control and the power in the hands of the administrator and allow the administrator to apply these dynamic policies and let Spotlight Secure do the work.